High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry. And we are live from LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. It's Reveting's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We've got our hot topics and our hot guests. So let's get into it. But first, of course, this conversation is always about you and the audience. So if you're here, keep us honest. Let us know that you're here. And who's here? Like, if you're in the audience, like, let us know who you are. Just say hi. Say where you're from. Let us know what you do for a living. We want to make this conversation relevant for you. So, of course, drop your questions. We'll put them on the screen. If they're relevant, just, let's keep it PG, if you know what I mean. Hey, Stephanie. So happy to see you here. Yeah, definitely connect with Stephanie. She is amazing. But tonight we've got hot topics and hot guest plans. So let's get right into it. I'm going to try not to do too much producing. We've got Cherry Assistant in the background helping me out. And if you haven't heard of Cherry Assistant, you want to go and check them out because they will place you with a virtual assistant somewhere around the world who has the skills that are relevant to your need. So Layla, who's helping me, she helps me with live streams and she helps me with my clients' live streams. And she also helps me just with operations and a whole lot of other things in the back end. But then we also have video editors. But maybe for you, it's something different. During intermission, I'm going to play a video and it'll have a little bit of more detail, like a menu of services that might be relevant to you. But just use the QR code on the screen. Or if you're listening later on podcasts, go ahead and go to cherryassistant.com and let them know that you heard about them through WinsDay. Hey, Angel. Thanks for being here. Stephanie. So glad that you guys are here. It's like, so has anyone here ever had a virtual assistant? Like, what do they do for you? If you haven't, like, have you ever considered one? Would love to hear what your thoughts are. I'm also curious, anyone in the audience, do you use High Level? So I've adopted High Level and I use it widely. So not only have I white labeled it, like, and we use it internally for all of our own landing pages, our own automations, our own sales, but we also help our clients on High Level. And so one thing as a marketing agency that's really great about coming inclusive with a CRM with our clients is that we're able to show our tangible results in terms of like, here are the leads, like here are the people who come in the door for you. So that's been really great. But so we white label it. Anyone who uses our Reveting services, they get access to app.reveting.com, which is just High Level under the hood. So you may want to just come work with us and get on app.reveting.com so we can help you build those things. And, there's a lot of different ways to do that. Stephanie's in the comments. She can help you. Actually, she helps sell for WinsDay. So she's amazing. Definitely meet Stephanie. But yeah, we help our clients with that. But maybe that's not what you want to do. Maybe you just want to go sign up for High Level. And if that's the case, like use this QR code, or if you're on podcast, go to reveting.com/high level. That's my affiliate link. And you'll get an extended 30-day free trial on my affiliate link to try High Level for yourself. Of course, if you sign up, I do get a 40% cut. And so it'll be to my benefit to help make sure that you like it. So feel free to reach out. Other than that, let's get into our hot topics and introduce you to our hot guests. But I want to welcome to the show. We've got Dave Gulas and Marissa Banks coming in from the audience who's been here before, but welcome to the show to both of you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse. Great to be here.
Yeah, Dave, great to have you. So, in good old fashioned Wednesday style, I'm going to put the clock up, or maybe Layla will. I don't know. I said I wasn't going to click. So, um, that's yeah, like my weakness. Sometimes it's like a nervous thing. I want to like produce, but I'm like, no, I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, we want to hear your full life story from birth to what brought you to now in 2 minutes, but we don't want the resume read off LinkedIn. We want to know the real you. So let's start with you, Marissa. Could you tell us the real you?
Sure, yeah. All right. Well, the real me is I am kind of a research nerd. I like to socialize. I'm kind of an ambivert. People don't always understand that. That's okay. I just really like to help people. That's my passion. From the start, I've had health trials. I had Lyme and I had trauma with my birth. My mom was actually beat up, and when I was born, her heart stopped. So your body, your brain remembers those things as you go through life. And so as I've gone on through life, I've had like, we've been my family's been in car accidents, all those things. Those are things that your brain needs rewiring from. So I went through like a lot of treatment modalities through my life, and your body can rebalance out, and that's what I found through the limbic system rewire. And moving to Alaska has been great because we get out in nature a lot. We get to go hiking if we want to, and we don't have to drive for miles. It's there. So it's been perfect for me. So that's my story.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it. Want to
Yeah.
hear from the audience. Are you connected with Marissa Banks? If not, go connect with her. Also, who's tuning in? Like, put it in the chat where you're coming from. In the meantime,
Mhm.
Dave, welcome to the show. We want to hear your full life story as well, like birth to what brought you to now. In the meantime, also go follow Dave because we're not going to hear about his resume because you can read that on LinkedIn. We're going to hear his full life story. Let's hear it, Dave.
Okay, full life story. So I'm born and raised Detroit, Michigan area, and still live there to this day. I've been a lifelong sales professional. Most of that time was in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm president and co-founder of a logistics company that's 3 years old and growing. I also have a podcast where I interview a wide variety of entrepreneurs. Beyond that, I am married with 6 children. And my wife and I, we had 5 within 5 years. And right now they're heading into grades 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And they're all athletes. So we have a very, very, very busy household. And so, yeah, travel baseball, basketball, volleyball, tennis, equestrian, probably something I missed in there as well. And yeah, so very, very active with the kids in all their sports. And then beyond that, I am a health nut. So I love physical activity and clean eating and nature walks and mountain biking. And meditation has been incredible for me over the last several years. I do yoga as well. And so all that, as well as I love to work, and I'm very passionate about growing our company. And yeah, that's my life in a nutshell.
Amazing. I love that. Well, thank you for sharing the in between so we get to know a little bit of the human you. But now that we did a little bit of that, let's get into these topics. So, we're all here to learn about sales and marketing. And so, in order to do that, we want it to be interactive. If you're in the audience, talk to us. Let us know your thoughts. And if you disagree, put it out there. We don't care. Problem aware marketing. What is problem aware marketing to you, audience? We want to know in the chat. But in the meantime, um, Marissa, could you kick us off on this topic? Reaching unaware customers effectively.
Yeah, so in what I do in the health and wellness industry, not everyone is problem aware, and especially with neuroplasticity, not everyone realizes that certain symptoms are actually signals from the brain to the body. So it's my job to tell the story, and my story is one story, right? A million different ways. And I sat down with the WinSight strategies and a cohort, and they're like, you know what? Most of us don't know this terminology. You're gonna have to break this down to us in like third grade level English. Hi, Angel. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to reach your market. And it's like he said, he gave the example with like Dave Ramsey, how he told his story and the trauma that it took from like being a real estate investment guru and losing everything to where he started from the bottom back up. So the same thing with me with rebuilding health. I have had to share my story in a million different ways, but also include a lot of research. And there's so much research that's been put out so fast because neuroplasticity is like a growing science. And back in 2015, um, I was totally problem unaware, and I would listen to Dr. Caroline Leaf and just kind of think, well, that's only for a specific market segment, like people who've had head trauma. But it's actually for the everyday person who's dealing with everyday stress, goes through life trials, health trials, grief, things like that. So when I talk to my audience that's problem unaware, I'm going to ask more questions and I'm going to put out more details of the latest research and also my story.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And we already
Mhm.
have a really great question. Of course, what is problem aware marketing? Is that messaging tiered to communicating with their pressing problems an ICP has? So I'll just jump in a little bit and just say problem aware marketing is about meeting people at the stage where they know they have a problem, but they
Mhm.
don't yet know about your solution.
Mhm.
So, like, I like to think of like those old infomercials where they're like, "Do you have neck problems? Do you, like to me that's problem aware marketing. Like when I talk about it in my own work, I think of it as the middle point of awareness. Like on one side,
Mhm.
you got unaware audiences, people who like they don't even realize they have a problem yet. And then on
Mhm.
the other hand, you've got solution aware or even, like product aware people. They're like, I know your solution exists and there's competitors and it's saturated. But like people who know the fix and they are comparing your competitors. But yeah, I digress there. How would both of you answer AP's questions? And I'll lean into you there, Dave.
Yeah, problem aware marketing. I think, like you said, there's a problem, and yeah, you just don't know what the solution is. So, yeah, and I mean, we do some of that as well. Meaning, I mean, we one of the markets that we serve is people that are doing their fulfillment, their e-commerce fulfillment in house, and oftentimes they reach a point to where it's counterproductive to continue to do that in house, and they don't always know that a 3PL really is often the best solution to kind of help them outsource that solution. So that's just like in my world, that's an area, I guess, that you could compare that to problem aware marketing, to where we're looking for those people that are graduating to outsource their fulfillment.
Mm,
Well,
yep, absolutely. Well, what more would you add on this topic, Marissa, before we switch gears?
I would focus on the individual in my industry. I would be definitely like they a lot of times when people are problem aware, they want to shoot the questions to me. They want to ask me very detailed questions based on their experiences. So I'm going to come with more research for them. I'm going to come with more of my life experiences for them and others as well, because there's lots of people who have been through head trauma. There's lots of people who have been through stress, lots of those things. So I'm not going to ask as many questions. I'm going to let them ask questions and I'm going to answer them directly. And it's very tailored to the individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. So good. Okay, well, let's move on. Next topic, personal branding, which I can talk about all day. So we're gonna have to like make sure we keep this one confined. But Dave, I'm so excited to learn from you in terms of personal branding strategy. Could you talk to us about building trust and visibility online?
Absolutely. So I can just tell you my own story. So I was in the pharmaceutical industry for about 20 years, did very well there. And within the segment we were at, it was secondary market, B2B sales, to where, you knew who the customers were, you knew who the suppliers were, and it was just a lot of phone sales selling commodities, to where you could build a successful company and you didn't necessarily need to have a presence online like on LinkedIn or any other platform. right? So and I had a personal brand within my niche industry where people knew me, people knew what it was like to do business with me and how I service customers, etc. But beyond that, I was practically invisible online. So when I moved into the logistics industry and we started scaling this company, EZDC 3PL, I quickly realized that people need to be able to find you, and you need to have that omnipresence to where you're out there posting content and you're helping people solve problems and you're providing valuable information and you have a presence online. So when I realized that, I quickly went about doing that, eventually got into the podcasting pretty quickly thereafter. But it's been a game changer for us. And even though I realized that and started doing that early on, I noticed too that so many people, even in our industry, the companies operate as faceless, nameless brands, where maybe it's been a company that's been in business for a long time and a lot of years, and they have big warehouses, and people aren't necessarily doing that. But for us as a startup, kind of growing into this industry and competing against a lot of larger companies, it's been invaluable because people get to know you before they even meet you. They see your content, they see you doing interviews, they see you on other podcasts. I mean, in my case, they see me interviewing a wide variety of entrepreneurs. They see everything that I post. So they get a good sense of who I am before I even talk to them. And that's almost like a digital handshake. And oftentimes too, with the brands we work with, these e-commerce companies, their inventory is often their most valuable asset. So when they're placing that trust that they're going to send it to you, the personal branding goes a long way in developing that trust and that assurance that they know that we're going to take care of them.
Very good.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So we've got a big comment here from AP. I guess for me, a bit about moi, APMM. I came on LinkedIn in November 2021. Active, thanks. Let's see, to people like Albert Bellamy. This was 6 months after college, FFC. And back then I didn't post and I didn't comment on other people's posts at all. I felt nervous about doing it. And because it was LinkedIn, there's an element of decorum that Facebook doesn't have, part one. We totally hear you. Definitely, like, it's scary. I hear this from clients all the time. I was just on a sales training internally and talking about our largest objection that we hear, which is imposter syndrome. So we help people build personal brands by going live on LinkedIn, like we're doing here. And we take that LinkedIn live and we repurpose it to podcast, short form video, and it powers AI and it trains marketing teams on their CEOs' voices and all the things. But in addition to that, people have a hard time going live and seeing themselves as this thought leader. So we have to sort of help them. And it's part of the coaching program too, that we do, which is really help them see that, like, well, first of all, I can't remember the exact stat out there and where it came from, but it's like 70%, 75%, maybe someone out there knows that, like, experience some sort of imposter syndrome where we're like, we just like question our own self-worth. But like, once you can get past that and you can just start going live on LinkedIn and be okay with it and hear yourself speak, you do slowly over time close the trust gap with your buyers. So like where I see personal branding work really well is when you understand your product market fit, you know who you're talking to, and you have 3 things you want to be known for. So 3 content pillars or 4. And you're repeating them over and over again. You're feeling like a broken record. And, there's a little bit of personal selfies here and stuff like that there. But if you're posting for everyone, you're posting for no one. So like if you're really resonating with your audience, then you're bringing people in. So I would love to hear both of your perspective on that.
On imposter syndrome?
Or just anything I just said in terms of like closing the trust gap with buyers, and putting yourself out there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, right? Because everyone, I certainly experienced it, but I quickly realized too, because when you're putting yourself out there online, like, you want attention. that's the goal, right? And you want people to watch and notice and pay attention. And I quickly realized how difficult it is to even get people to watch. So it's like no one's really that was the light bulb for me, is like no one's thinking about you that much, right? Everyone's thinking about their own problems, their own business, what they need to do. You want to interrupt them and, hey, look at this in case something resonates and there's a potential fit there. So I think the whole imposter syndrome, even though it's something prevalent that the mind does, because survival, like as a survival mechanism, it really doesn't, like no one's thinking about you all that much. So just do it, just put the content out, because it's like you said, it's for somebody. Somebody is going to, you have what someone needs. So if you don't put it out there, then they're never going to get that value.
Yep. And you need to humanize the brand, because people buy from people, not brands. And so when you have the face of your brand out there making themselves available, especially in real time like this, like any of my clients could come in the chat here and, at any time and say anything they want and get some support or feedback or complain or any of the above. Like, I'm making myself vulnerable by putting myself out there. And when businesses do that, it humanizes you. And in the world of AI, that's something we need. Like, this type of conversation can't be replicated by AI yet. Almost like deep fakes are kind of getting close, but like conversations like this live in real time that can engage with comments, no. So like, it's important. Personal branding to me is important because it humanizes businesses. But anything more either of you would add, like on personal branding strategy and building trust and visibility online?
I think I've been following Darren McKee since I got on LinkedIn, and he's the one that got me tuned into Jesse's show, because Darren shows whole person content. And I really enjoyed how he showed like his humble beginnings and the messy middle to where he's at now in sales. And so I started like really following how he builds a personal brand, and then how Jesse does her content pillars. And he has his content pillars too. But from there, I just realized like there are some days where you just need to be funny so people connect with that. There's some days where you just need to be sharing your latest market research or how you did that thing to get where you are. And so I definitely agree with what Jesse's saying. And honestly, like you do connect with a person, you connect with their story, you connect with who they are and their integrity level. And to me, that's huge.
Yes, definitely. 100%. And I just tagged Darren McKee in the comments because you mentioned him. Like, he's awesome. Definitely go follow Darren McKee. But yeah, no, personal branding is so important. I think it's only going to get more important as, we see time move on with AI and technology, because people are going to want things humanized. And like, I don't know. I digress. I want to hear from the people in the comments. Obviously, you're here on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you are. Why are you out here building a personal brand yourself? Like AP, Stephanie, like to you, why is building a personal brand important? Why is posting important? Or like, have you ever come across a brand where you saw them or their posts like 40 times before you went and bought from them? So your trust gap was closed because you saw their organic content. So just, really curious what people in the chat think. Angel, what are your thoughts? She says, be brave. Yes, be brave, build a personal brand. But either
Angel's a very good storyteller. She tells all of her stories through all of her careers in life. And I'm sure Angel could give us some tips on storytelling. She's very good at that with building her brand.
yeah, Angel, tell us some stories from the chat. We would love to hear from you. But yeah, building a personal brand it's been really important to me. It's how I've been able to grow a business. I'm just a mom in Ohio in the suburbs, so I don't travel. I'm not going to events. Like, LinkedIn is the daily trade show for me, and it has been for the last couple years. And then going live like this in the evening, this is like the after party cocktail hour where we get to like actually engage, which, by the way, we've got people in the chat. Anyone interested in an after party? Like, should we do it? Like, would you attend? Would you go to reveting.com/Zoom after this? If so, I'm curious. If not going to do it. Hey, Jessica, I see you. She was at the after party last week. But yeah, if there's a few of you who are interested or more, then definitely willing to hang out on Zoom afterwards. But yeah, before I close out this topic, I love personal branding. Let's read Jessica's comment really quick. I feel like personal branding is so important because it is something that can never be taken away from you. Like you can experience working for another brand and it gives people another opportunity to witness what you truly stand for and what you
Yeah.
get invisibility for. That can be a great pathway into other professional efforts. Love that?
Agreed.
Yes,
Agreed.
100%.
Right.
So true, Jessica. Keep going. You are doing such a great job with your personal brand and connecting with people. Because
Mhm.
and one thing that Jessica's really great at too is connecting with people in community.
Yeah.
Personal branding for me is on LinkedIn, but also in communities. Do either of you like? Actually, we were just talking about this pre-show, like WhatsApp communities. Dave, have you been in any other communities?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually part of another WhatsApp group. It's just a bunch of 3PL owners. So a lot of us network together and talk shop. And it's interesting because in the pharmaceutical industry, everything was so competitive and cutthroat and just that type of vibe, where in logistics, it's the exact opposite. It's very collaborative. Everyone works together. Everyone kind of tells each other everything they're working on and helps each other solve their problems. So it's a very refreshing type of industry. And yeah, so I'm involved in that type of community.
I love that. Well, we got a
Awesome.
really great question from Edwin. Let's hop into it. Marissa, I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I think it's
Okay.
all in building trust, he says. What's your best tip for building trust? Would love to hear your thoughts. Love the topic. Edwin, thanks for being here. Keep your questions coming. Marissa, how do you build trust?
I build trust by being authentic, sharing exactly what happened in my story, but also if someone wants to jump on a quick call with me, I'm willing to do that. But also just sharing the latest research and helping people understand that it's really truly about helping you continue to grow and learn. And I mean, honestly, that's how you do neuroplasticity is you keep growing and
Mm.
learning. There's a guy who his name is Darren. He's from the UK. And he said it was welcome to share his story. He actually got beat up while he was a chef, and his head was like absolutely damaged. And
Oh,
from
wow.
there, he couldn't even stand up at all.
Oh, that's
And he was
horrible.
passing out. He had to quit his job. This is very kind of similar to my story where I wasn't digesting anymore, so I couldn't work anymore, and so I was laid up, and I was down to two foods. I had my allergies and food sensitivity issues. Well, he ended up to where he just couldn't stand up, and he started learning neuroplasticity and his brain healed itself. So he was able to finally do work again. He was able to speak and travel. And now he only has one side of the brain that is not healed from that trauma. And he wants to do the critical thinking and reasoning side of the brain. When you are using devices and you're using your phone, there's EMF, there's also radiation, and those are damaging to your brain. And so the critical thinking and the reasoning side of the brain shrinks. So to build that authenticity, share your story, and then people they don't just know a face with your brand, they also know exactly how you got to where you are and what the details are.
Yes, I love that. And since this was Edwin's question in terms of trust, he says, I think it's all in building trust. Okay, I thought that was another comment there from Edwin coming back in. Oh, we got Doug here saying personal branding is based and perceived by others. You have to establish trust and social proof first. Ooh, yes, good conversation in layman's terms. So in my coaching, what I talk about with cover images is having logos on there for social proof. So if you go look at my LinkedIn
Mm,
profile, I have logos of people I work with, customers, clients, partners
very good.
for social proof. Social proof is so important. But
Mm.
I want to lean into you, Dave, before we transition off this topic. You've seen all the questions coming in, all the comments. Like, how would you wrap up this conversation on personal branding before we move on?
Well, so we talked about a lot of the important elements of personal branding and doing the stuff online and posting content and social proof, etc. But even beyond that, I mean, I tell this to my kids all the time too, is your personal brand is who you are, how you treat people. Do you keep your word? Are you on time? Do you say what you're going to
Mhm.
do? Do you, all those things, and everyone's always watching. So I would just
Mhm.
say that, in terms of how to build trust and how to establish a personal brand, the foundation is just how you operate day to day in your daily life regardless of anyone's watching or not. But in reality, people are always watching.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Always watching.
Yeah.
It's so true. So be careful what you put out there. And on that note, we will be back right after this brief message from Cherry Assistant.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and go high level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
Yes, be like Mike. So if you're on podcast, what we're showing on screen right now is the menu, including, but not limited to, lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistance, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, and project management assistance. So if that speaks to you, you're going to want to go to cherryassistant.com, reach out to them, let them know you heard about them through WinsDay, and let's do some business together, because then I get a little cut to it. Just give me a little referral there with DJ Kim over at Cherry Assistant. But all right, let's get into our third topic. So Marissa, kick us off. Warm lead conversion, engaging ready to buy customers. Talk to me.
Sure. Okay. So basically, when I am talking with a client, like I had a client that popped out right off the bat when I was starting to post on LinkedIn about my story. And I don't know what exactly connected her to my story, but she had a lot of questions. And so right off the bat, I did a discovery call with her. And then I did a follow-up with her, and she was ready to sign up. She said, my symptoms are so severe, I can't wait. And she had already been doing research. She'd been doing naturopathic care. And so in that case, I would just answer her questions that are related to neuroplasticity, and then I would do a discovery call, and then I get her signed up as a client. And so it's just basically I did all the closing, at her speed, and just shared and answered her questions as much as possible. And it was a much shorter process because it was just like, I need help now, and are you available? And like, well, I'm available. I'm just learning how to coach. So yeah.
You're just learning how to coach. I love that. I mean, we all
Mhm.
are learning at some point, right?
Mhm.
I love that. So warm lead conversion. What would you talk about in terms of warm lead conversion and engaging ready to buy customers, Dave?
Well, warm lead conversion, I mean, just from my experience too, right? With our because we help brands with their fulfillment, so they'll move in our warehouse, and ideally they stay and they never leave, assuming it's a good relationship on both sides. But so the sales cycle on my end I've had deals take as quick as a week, and I've had them take as long as 2 years, and everywhere in between. So oftentimes the sales cycle is several months, and there'll be a whole lot of back and forth, and there might be people going dark, or there might be people getting busy, or whatever it may be. So I always just like to stay top of mind with people if they need something, if they have a question, and if for some reason they don't respond. I always like to just say, follow up at some sort of a cadence and just say, hey, just want to see where things are at and what your plans are. And again, I'm sure we can all relate to the people that are pushy or try to hammer close you, or the pitch slaps on LinkedIn and all that. So I always like to be of course I'm in sales, of course I want to close a deal, of course I want to we all want to grow our business, but at the same time it's got to be mutually beneficial, and it's got to make sense. And I never want to give off that vibe that I'm just trying to chase the sale for the sake of the sale. I want it to truly be beneficial, and I'll take extra time just to ensure that it is a win-win and it's a good fit for both parties.
Same here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Mhm.
Were you going to say some more, Marissa?
Well, I was told to put up an FAQ page for my business online, and so that helps, hearing his process and just how long it can take. I think sometimes people just want to get their questions out. So, I've never like experimented with an FAQ page, so maybe you guys can weigh in on that. But that was what I did with this discovery calls. It was just a long, drawn out process of Q&A, and then also answering questions in the comments and whatnot. And people are starting to track my posting on Instagram and Facebook too. So the more channels I'm across, or the more social media platforms I'm across, the more questions I'm receiving. So some of them take longer than others, and some people are just not ready financially, but some people haven't made their decision yet. Like you said, shopping around, they know, or you were saying, they know they're problem aware and they know that they have options. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's very easygoing with me.
Yeah, definitely. So let's drill into this topic a little more. An audience, like what to you is a warm lead? Like I'll just start rambling. To me, a warm lead isn't a stranger. They've already touched your world in one way or another, be it an
Mhm.
ebook, be it you came to the live stream or like you commented on a LinkedIn post. Like
Mhm.
they have somehow expressed some sort of interest in your brand. They signed up
Mhm.
for your email list. They went to your, ideally, like they'll be a little bit closer to a funnel in terms of like they went to your pricing page and they requested a custom quote or something like that. But
Mhm.
like cold leads take heavy lifting, right? You have to educate
Mhm.
them, you have to nurture them. But like warm leads, they're already halfway there. Or like the real question is like, how how do you get them halfway there? How do you like get them to close? Like they know of you, they're on their radar. Like how I convert warm leads is like I don't treat warm leads like a mass list. I try to like make things relevant to them. So, like, they obviously know about me. So, I want to reciprocate that. I want to go look up their LinkedIn, understand something about them, go to their website, understand something about them before I get on a phone call with them.
Mhm.
I want to invite and not pitch. I want to remove friction. So, a lot of the times I find that warm leads will stall. Right? If like you're too complex, like, oh, I'm a coach and I have services and I do a retreat. And then I'm, also I have these communities and I have a newsletter. Like if I go out there with all the things, they're gonna be like, okay, this lady's doing everything. But like, just trying to like figure out and zone things in to make it relevant, personal for them. But like, I digress. Lauren, oh my gosh. Hey girl, what's up from the comments? How are you? Parmita. You should definitely meet Parmita, Lauren. Anyway, Lauren, by the way, in Women Wave, someone was saying something about an event in Florida. Maybe you're interested. I digress. But anyway, warm leads. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Before we move on, just a couple more minutes. This was your topic, Marissa. So,
Mhm.
based on everything I said with warm leads, anything else you might want to add?
Well, what you're saying about like overwhelming and bombarding and drinking from a fire hydrant, I totally get that. Because that's what it was like in my career. That's actually what stressed me out, besides being exposed to mold toxicity. So I can feel that from them. And if I see someone that just needs like a little bit of space to think, then I'm just going to give them toddler sized bites on what I do. I'm not going to say, hey, I do coaching on neuroplasticity and here's the three parts of your limbic system and give them too much information. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to say, hey, look, I rewired my brain and now I have energy again. Keep it simple and keep it consistent. And I'm going to answer any questions that they might have. And if I see a conversations that's related to it, I gently lead them to the topic. Like for instance, hair loss is a big thing that people are talking about right now on LinkedIn. It's just like everyone's really struggling with it. And I'm like, actually, I've been through that before. And when you're mineral deficient, you struggle with that. And rewiring my brain helps me absorb nutrients, get back electrolytes, stay hydrated, which if you're dehydrated, and a lot of people are suffering from that, Dr. Josh Axe was saying that 75% of the population is dehydrated, then your brain actually shrinks a little bit and you actually forget things. So if you're not taking in the electrolytes, then you can't stay hydrated. Well, I can't explain all this in one LinkedIn post. I have to kind of give little examples of storytelling throughout the week.
On that note, I'll take a drink of my water. Y'all should do the same. Thank you all for the comments. I want to read Jessica's here. She says, warm leads and also existing customer base is another focus. I intentionally anchor efforts around when it comes to partnership and collaboration. Sometimes we don't nurture existing relationships beyond initial sales, where there could be other opportunities that would serve us better than putting ads out. Though consistency
Mhm.
and retention is also important. Thank you, Jessica. Would love to hear
Yep.
from everyone else on this topic, but before we close it out, Dave, any last thoughts on it? Warm lead
Yeah,
conversion?
two thworms. That number one, that comment just now, I love
Mhm.
that, and I've
Yeah.
because it takes work, especially as your network grows and you have so many contacts and so many connections and so many relationships. But I deliberately go back through some of my best ones on a regular, every quarter, even almost, and just catch up with people and say, hey, what else can we do? And real business is developed out of that, and that's such a powerful strategy. So number one, I love that. And two, just getting back to warm lead conversion, like you said, Jesse, sometimes deals stall and people just, maybe it feels like they're not ready. One question I always like to ask that seems to work well for me is I'll just ask somebody, after I've given them information or answer a question like, hey, where should we go from here? And just leave it up to them. Like, should we move forward? Do you need more time? Are you not ready? But just, and again, not trying to be pushy, but just, let me know where should we go from here. So if you haven't tried that, I'd try it
Go
out.
from here. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a really great marketing song, actually. But before we get into nerding out on that, let's talk about action over perfection. Oh man, just ship it already. Just get it out. And as someone who does content creation for a living and helps other people get their posts out, man, when you build a backlog because you're just really nitpicking at the captions and other things,
Mhm.
you gotta let go and just let things flow and know that if there are mistakes that, as long as they're not too big, of course,
Mhm.
you just have to but anyway, why imperfection, execution wins? Why don't you let us know about that, Dave? Can you kick us off?
Oh, yes. I mean, for me, this hits so close to home, and it's just a strategy I really try to live by every single day is, messy, imperfect action will win every single time. And so often, the biggest obstacle to getting anything done is just getting started and that initial inertia and your mind trying to keep you safe and trying to convince you why you shouldn't do it. And oftentimes you'll have these ideas, these impulses, these desires, and you want to do something. And if you wait too long, your mind will convince you not to do it. So, as an example for me, when I started my podcast almost 2 years ago, it was literally just the idea popped in my head one day. And I was like, wow, I really should do this. And I took action as quick as I could. And if you would have seen me at the time, I knew nothing about podcasting. I had zero experience, I had zero equipment. I didn't really have any reason to do it. I started on a laptop and over Zoom, and I just started, kept going, and now we've recorded, I think, close to 190 episodes. We're ranked in the top 2.5% on listen notes globally. We've got a growing YouTube following, a growing audio following. It's done wonders for the business. It's been a powerful marketing tool, a powerful branding tool. It's created some incredible relationships, friendships, and it's just been a whole bunch of fun. And that's just one example to where, and I say that too because so many people throughout this journey have congratulated me and said, wow, that's amazing. I wanted to do that, but I
Mhm.
couldn't get started, or I bought equipment, but I just didn't do it. And man, wow, you did it. Congrats. And it's just like, for me, that's you can apply that to all types of other things too, is just take the action. When you have that idea, do something, move forward, get momentum, keep going. You can always figure it out. And if you look around and notice, that's what all the most successful people do. No one has it figured out in the beginning. Everyone is iterating as they go. But if you don't get started, you never will.
Mhm.
Yes, get started. From the comments, everyone who's watching, what have you gotten started on lately? Or on the other end, are you willing to share anything you haven't gotten started on? We can help hold you accountable. Put it in the chat. We want to hear from you in the chat. And Marissa, what would you say on this topic in terms of just like sort of wrapping it up? Action over perfection, why
Yeah.
imperfect execution wins.
Sure. And you guys have all heard the quote that we learn more from our mistakes than we do from our successes. If you aren't out there making mistakes, how do you know how to pivot for the market? How do you know what your buyers are thinking? How do you know where your clients are at and what the number one issues are that you're solving? So if you don't start, then like how can you refocus your business and make sure that you are meeting the needs of your clients? So I try to focus on just getting it out there so that I can listen more and I can help people more. And that's the focus. If we're not serving clients, I mean, then what are we doing? So,
100%. But yeah, we're all imperfect human beings. So really, the more imperfect we can be, the more human we're going to look. But on that note, want to just hear from the rest of the audience.
That's a quote there, Jet. You should like memorialize that as a quote. That's very profound. The more imperfect we can be, the more human we can be. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you misspell, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a marketer. There was one time in my career I accidentally emailed like 76,000 people the wrong email, and I'm like,
Oh, definitely have done that. Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, but you learn really fast. We all make mistakes, and then you learn. Just you have to fail fast, and I wouldn't be where I was if I didn't fail a lot. Like I fail every day. It's just being able to face those failures and face those fears. But yeah, want to hear from people. We've got Parmita. What did she say? Going full-time with sales consulting and working with businesses to help them with revenue growth and client acquisition. If you're not failing and doing, you're not succeeding. That's
Very
right.
good.
Yes, totally down for that. And anyone from the audience or audience members, this is for you. Like, who do you know that fails fast and does this really well? Like, who's a good example of like someone who's been putting themselves out there? Stephanie says perfection is overrated. Be real, be you. Love that, Stephanie. Absolutely. Definitely welcome more comments on this topic, and we'll bring them up if you do. But in the meantime, we want to hear about the guru of the week. The guru of the week. So you guys know the drill. It's time for the guru of the week. So talk to us a little bit about why we should go follow these folks on.
Okay, go ahead.
Here you go first, Marissa.
Okay, sure. So Angel Slazonak is the CEO of Sports Faith Media, and her whole mission is to help people draw closer to God through publications. So if you want to write a book and you want to connect with your audience and you also want to connect with God, that's their mission. Also, I found Angel through music. Angel is a music education just guru. She knows almost everything about performance and music. She's actually knows Disney stars and whatnot. She's performed live and done a lot of shows, and she's really good at opera. So Jesse, I think you'll really connect well with Angel. So yeah, I love music. I love to sing. So Angel and I connected on that. And then from there, she became a business mentor and a coach for me. She's awesome.
All right. And my guru of the week is Kevin Thompson. So Kevin is the host of a podcast called $1 Million Relationships. And I just recorded an episode with him last week. It's going to come out in, I believe, about 3 weeks or so. But I met him on LinkedIn and we just connected. He said, hey, you got to come on my podcast. He's actually scheduled to come on my podcast in a couple weeks here. And he's got an incredible story, but the whole basis is everything and success is all based on relationships. And he brings people on to tell their stories of how these different relationships and these serendipities throughout their life have unfolded in creative, massive breakthroughs for people. So that's really the gist of his show. And then even thereafter, we exchange some other referrals that I'm assuming the intros I made were good for him, but he made an incredible intro for me that's potentially developing into something. And yeah, he's just a great human being. And then, we were talking. I said, yeah, I got 6 kids. And he's like, oh, I have 7 kids. And I was like, he was telling me his whole story. And he's just such an incredible human being. He does great work. And yeah, I just follow him. You won't regret it. Oh, wow, the after party's on. All right.
I guess so.
Yeah, there's just like way too much going on there. Sorry about that. But yeah, there definitely is an after party after the show. It
Yeah.
looks like we've got another comment. Oh, it just looks like it was me. I was saying congratulations to Angel. I didn't get a chance to comment for your guru of the week yet, but we will definitely go back and tag that person. And everyone else, go tag the gurus of the week and go follow them, because you just got introduced to someone who is going to be relevant and inspiring to you if you found this conversation relevant and inspiring. So anyway, yeah, really appreciate both of you sharing your guru of the week. But before we wrap things up, because believe it or not, we're already at the top of the hour. Side note, make sure you guys are joining the after party. Before I go on, Edwin, are you going to come to the after party? Since we have a number of people here in the chat, and then we'll head over to Zoom. Let's meet each other. We can, exchange our stories, and if it makes sense, y'all can book calls and make sales. But yeah, no, we have a good time. But definitely come reach us at reveting.com/Zoom. But in the meantime, could both of you please tell us a little bit more about you before we go? We want to know, like, who do you help? And if they could be helped by you, how could they reach out to you? So we'll start with you, Marissa.
Okay, so I'm just reaching out to people who might be wanting to perform better, and then some people who might be struggling with food sensitivities, allergies, stress, managing life trials, things like that. And maybe you have someone who has a problem with detoxing. All of these things can be helped by brain rewiring. And a little bit about me, I'm a homeschool mom of 3. I work from home. My son is on the autism spectrum. So my hands are full. I am very busy behind the scenes of LinkedIn. And so I wanted to start this business to help other people that are stuck like I was with their health, or even just with motivation, creativity, and performance on the job.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And then Dave, for you, tell us a little bit more about you, who you serve, and if they could be served by you, how could they reach you?
Absolutely. So EZDC 3PL, we help manufacturers and e-commerce brands with warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation. So two real buckets of customers that are ideal for us. Number one, if a brand is doing fulfillment in-house, all of them at some point reach a graduation point where it just makes sense to outsource the logistics to people that specialize in that, so they can focus on growing their business and operating in their own zone of genius. So that's one group of people we benefit. The other is if you're already with a 3PL and you're not happy with the service. And statistically, that's 60% of the market is not happy with the 3PL. And I talk to those people almost every day. So oftentimes the complaints that are most common, being slow response time, orders not shipping on time, being treated just like a number, poor service. So we really try to do the opposite, where we respond quick. They have a dedicated person that they can reach out to. We're flexible with how people can communicate: phone, text, Slack, WhatsApp, whatever it may be. And we really try to go out of our way to create an outstanding customer service experience, so they know the logistics is handled, the orders ship on time every time, and they can focus on growing their business. And they know that the logistics are covered, and they're not going to have to stress about that because we're on our job. So that's who we are in a nutshell. You can go to EZDC3PL.com. You can find me on LinkedIn at Dave Gulas, Gulas. And also, if you want to check out my podcast and hear some amazing, inspiring entrepreneurial stories, you can go to Beyond Fulfillment Podcast. That's on YouTube and everywhere else podcasts are heard.
So cool.
Awesome. Parmita, I hope you can join the after party. Marissa, Dave, what do you think? Are you going to be able to join in?
Sure. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll join.
Great. Awesome. Well, this has been another excellent episode of WinsDay. Thank you, audience, for joining. Hope you can pop on over to the Zoom and say hi, introduce yourself. Let's all get connected. And before we go, I want to make sure and tell everyone about next week. So, of course, we've got another really great episode of WinsDay planned, and we're going to pull up the details of that right here. So we have David Reed and Andrew Barrow. So David is the Vice President of Global Growth at Transmission, and Andrew is the founder of Revenue Arc. So really excited to meet both of them and bring them on here live. So definitely be sure to join us here on LinkedIn. And if you enjoyed this show, then you might want to catch it later on podcast. We'll be on all your favorite podcast channels. You can go binge us. We've got over 200 plus episodes out there. And then also, we recap it and put it in the newsletter. So go to reviting.com/newsletter and subscribe to our newsletter if you want to read about it and also read about the upcoming episodes. We do a little recap of what's going on in the communities. If you want to join our WhatsApp communities, we've got a WinsDay Winners WhatsApp community. Just invited Dave there pre-show. Marissa's in the WinsDay Winner community. Since you're in there, Marissa, do you want to tell the audience about the WinsDay Winner community and what you've thought about it so far?
I love it because it's like the daily hype that you need to get into your business. Sometimes, let's face it, we're kind of dragging our feet about starting. And so Jesse's always like, come on, everybody, what do you have to share? What do you have to, show us today? And it's just been so helpful to think through strategically what you need to let loose ends you might need to tie up on your business, and where the market's pivoting, and how to use AI. Oh my gosh, that's so growing exponentially. And also, Jesse got me set up with my website. I forgot to drop the link there. It's Limbic System Coach, right? LimbicSystemCoach.com. And so people can connect with me there. But Jesse helped me get started up with High Level, and I just love it. It's like I've worked with CRM systems before in my job in the legislature. I was staffed to several legislators, and they always wanted me to run their CRM system and their constituent emails. And I did so much work. I even learned HTML coding and all these other things. And this is beautiful, you guys. It's really awesome. You could do so many things through the High Level account. I just can't sing her praises enough with this. I was even telling Angel about it. I was like, Angel, we need to check her out. She's awesome. So
well,
yeah, I love the WhatsApp community.
For it. You basically built that website. All I did was add the domain and make it a little functional. You built it after being in the coaching program.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I was just like, this is so doable, and I love that it's not super hard. It's pretty user friendly, and you could use it with Canva and other things. And I think you can go live through them, right, Jesse?
Not on LinkedIn, but maybe on other channels. I haven't figured that out yet. I use StreamYard personally. But okay, let's hop on over to the Zoom. If anyone else, we still have 8 of you on LinkedIn. Hop on over to Zoom. We hope to see you there. And again, Dave, Marissa, thanks for joining here. And we will see you soon over there for just a moment. And I'll close this out.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jesse.
Bye.
What?